Max Verstappen just pulled off the most insane qualifying session of the year at Monza. While everyone expected McLaren or Ferrari to take pole, the four-time champion set the fastest lap in F1 history and left them scrambling for answers. This is your complete breakdown of Italian Grand Prix qualifying, where everything you thought you knew just got turned upside down. We are going through every single driver from P20 to P1, showing you exactly what happened, plus the shocking eliminations and why Ferrari's home race dreams just got crushed. Let's start from the back of the grid. In P20 was Liam Lawson and P19 was Pierre Gasly. Liam Lawson, who ran wide at Lesmo 1 and got his lap time deleted for track limits, the Racing Bulls driver couldn't recover and ended up last. Pierre Gasly in the Alpine, the team struggled all day with pace, and despite announcing his contract extension earlier, Gasly couldn't find the speed to get through. In P18 was Franco Colapinto and P17 was Lance Stroll. Franco Colapinto also in Alpine. The rookie actually outqualified his more experienced teammate, but both Alpines were way off the pace at this high-speed circuit. Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin, finishing 3 tenths behind his teammate Alonso. The Canadian just couldn't find the extra speed needed at Monza. P16 was Isaac Hadjar and P15 was Esteban Ocon. But here's the real shocker. Isaac Hadjar in his Racing Bulls got knocked out in Q1. This is massive because just 1 week ago the kid was on the podium in Zandvoort. Now he's suffering his first Q1 elimination of his entire F1 career. Hadjar complained about traffic, suspected damage after going wide at Lesmo 2, and poor tire preparation. Esteban Ocon couldn't get his Haas through, ending up in P15. The Frenchman was over 2.5 tenths away from making Q3. P14 was Alex Albon and P13 was Carlos Sainz. Alexander Albon in the Williams. After showing promise in practice, both Williams cars failed to deliver when it mattered. The Thai driver was just 1.5 tenths from Q3. Carlos Sainz, also in the Williams, the Spanish driver was within a tenth of making Q3 but couldn't find that extra bit of pace. P12 was Nico Hülkenberg and P11 was Ollie Behrman. Nico Hülkenberg in the Sauber missing out on Q3 by just 65 thousandths of a second while his teammate Bortoleto made it through. That's gotta hurt. The most devastating Q2 elimination was Ollie Behrman. The Haas driver missed Q3 by just 13 thousandths. That's the difference between making the top 10 and getting knocked out. Now we get to Q3 where everything went crazy. In P10 was Yuki Tsunoda and P9 was Fernando Alonso. Yuki Tsunoda in the second Red Bull. The Japanese driver had some battery issues during the session but managed to hold on to the final Q3 spot, but will start the race from P9 because of Lewis Hamilton's penalty. Fernando Alonso grabbed P9 for Aston Martin. The two-time world champion delivered when it counted. Will start P8 because of Lewis Hamilton penalty. P8 was Gabriel Bortoleto and P7 was Kimi Antonelli. Gabriel Bortoleto absolutely smashed it in P8 with his Sauber. This has been an incredible weekend for the Brazilian, getting into Q3 and beating several factory teams. Fourth time in Q3 in 6 races for rookie is impressive. Kimi Antonelli bounced back to P7 in Mercedes after his Friday practice when he beached the car and struggles this season. The young Italian showed he belongs in F1 with a solid qualifying performance at his home race. P6 was George Russell and P5 was Lewis Hamilton. George Russell in the other Mercedes was questioning his tire choice over team radio, asking why they didn't give him mediums for his final run, but still delivered a decent lap. Here is where things get interesting. Lewis Hamilton qualified P5 for Ferrari, but he's got a 5th-place grid penalty from the Dutch Grand Prix for not slowing under the yellow flags, so he actually starts from P10, promoting everyone behind him up 1 spot. P4 was a Charles Leclerc and P3 was Oscar Piastri. Charles Leclerc could only manage P4 in the Ferrari at Ferrari's home race. With all the tifosi cheering, Leclerc looked fast early on but couldn't improve when it mattered. The Monegasque said he couldn't do more. He was disappointed but not surprised. Oscar Piastri secured P3 for McLaren. The championship leader was over a tenth behind his teammate and will be hoping his race pace is better than than his qualifying pace. Remember, he's leading Norris by 34 points in the title fight. P2 was Lando Norris and on pole is Max Verstappen. But here's where the session exploded. Lando Norris almost didn't make it out of Q2. He was called back into the pits after cutting turn 1, ended up P11 at one point and had to do a desperate final lap just to get into Q3. Then in Q3, Norris was down in P7 after his first run, half a second off the pace, but the Brit dug deep, found speed from somewhere and briefly took provisional pole position. For about 30 seconds, it looked like McLaren had secured a front row lockout. Then Max Verstappen happened. The Dutchman unleashed a lap for the ages. That's not just pole position, that's a new lap record at Monza and officially the fastest lap by average speed in Formula 1 history. Red Bull trimmed their car right out, ran lower downforce than McLaren, and Verstappen delivered when it mattered the most. He was 77 thousandths faster than Norris and completely stole position from the McLarens. This result is massive for the championship fight. Norris needs to start ahead of Piastri to maximize his chances of closing that 34-point gap, and he's done that. But now he's got Verstappen right in front of him, and we know Max doesn't give up wins easily. For Ferrari, this was supposed to be their moment. Home race, passionate tifosi, but they ended up P4 and P10 after Hamilton's penalty. Charles Leclerc summed it up perfectly, disappointed but not surprised. The real story is now Racing Bulls. Went from a podium celebration last week to both cars eliminated in Q1. That's Formula 1 for you. Verstappen just reminded everyone why he's a four-time world champion. When it looked like McLaren had everything wrapped up, he found speed nobody knew existed and set a lap that will be talked about for years. Sunday's race is going to be epic with this grid, and with championship points on the line, everything could change again. Thank you for watching. Please comment, like and subscribe.